I'm Brent Leary.
Paul Greenberg.
And yada, yada, yada. We are the CRM Playaz.
Mm-hmm. And Elaine's coming to join us.
She didn't know that you could yada, yada a CRM Playaz up?
No, but she's finding out now.
Anyway, we are the CRM Playaz. And guess what, folks? We've been bringing that since 2009. Whatever that is.
Yeah, how about the AZ?
The easy AZ?
The AZ. Like the, what was that show? The something, I don't remember. Forget it.
Fugazi?
It'll never work. No, it was the show like the PI or it had the
Magnum?
It was called the something. Then it was two letters like that. But it wasn't, I don't remember. Would have been funny if I could remember in a timely way, but I didn't.
All right. So we are back and we got a special show because we have a special guest who made a special announcement earlier this week. Wow, that's a lot of special stuff going on there. But you know what else is special? The moment is Finn is back.
Oh, thank God.
You say that now, but do you know what that is? Something that Steve Jobs apparently said.
Hawaiian. Some specific islander language or dialect. I say Hawaiian. There is a language, Hawaiians. So it could be Samoan, Hawaiian, like that.
Some kind of South
Pacific Island language. I'll go with Hawaiian for now.
All right. Well, while you go with that, Mr. Augustine is joining us. Matter of fact, Larry, since you are here, if you have like maybe an interesting story to tell about our guest later on, maybe you'd like to join us to tell us it. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, you're in, and you know that.
Especially if it's like something that's gonna make them look funny. You know, we're always up for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're so nice. It does not make fun with you, Paul. He doesn't have any fun because I was probably right. Was I right, Sven? Was it Hawaiian?
Yeah, you got to tell us this for posterity's sake.
I'm guessing it was, because he's basically saying it's no fun. Maybe because I guessed right most of the time. That's Stump the Godfather. Don't worry, Stump the Godfather offsets it. Hawaiian. I was right.
Get closer than ever to your customers, so close that you tell them what they need well before they realize it themselves. Yeah, that's a good quote.
That's actually a really good quote, and it was Hawaiian. Okay. There was some tells in it, really.
There was?
Well, think about island, think about the names of islands and the volcanoes and the mountains, Mauna Kea, things like that. And then go to the quote in Hawaiian, and you'll see a lot of the same language format, I'll call it. Language framework. It's very similar. So it was an easy guess.
Well, you deserve an easy one every now and again.
I'm good with that. I'm good with languages. I'm just not good with anything else.
I hear you're a pretty good driver.
No, I'm actually not. I don't like driving. I am a good driver, but I hate driving.
Thank you.
And I can't see at night anymore. And I can't see at night anymore either.
That was the Rain Man portion of the show.
Yes, it is.
I'm a pretty good driver. Anyway, yeah, so we'll wait. We usually wait and tell folks what's going on. But you know what? There's a pretty significant piece of news. I think it just happened today with ServiceNow buying a company called Logic AI. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. No, let's take a.
That's a. What was the acquisition they made like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, that's a move. Something mover.
Something. Something mover or mover something. Yeah, that's a lot.
Wait a minute. Before we get too far into it, I did a search on Google. On YouTube, to see if anybody had posted a video of this, talking about this acquisition. So I'm going to play what I found. There's only one I found. I'm going to play it. Here it is.
All right.
Recently, ServiceNow, a prominent player in the IT service management domain, announced its acquisition of Logic.ai's state-of-the-art
Logic?
AI-powered configure price quote CPQ
Yeah, I
solution.
guess.
This strategic move is set to significantly enhance ServiceNow's customer relationship management CRM offerings, providing businesses with advanced tools to streamline their sales processes and improve customer engagement. By integrating Logic.ai's innovative CPQ solution, ServiceNow aims to empower organizations to automate and optimize their pricing and quoting processes. This acquisition aligns perfectly with our vision of transforming how organizations interact with their customers, said Bill McDermott, CEO of ServiceNow.
I wonder if he said it like that.
With AI at the core of our CRM strategy.
This is the worst thing I've ever heard. This is horrible.
I mean, as far as AI, the advancements that AI has had, you guys can get a better voice than that now. I mean,
oh my God, Logic AI, Logic.
Yeah, Logic. Yeah.
I mean, give me a break. That was horrible. And not only that, that slide seemed to have nothing to do with it.
Well, that was generated by, I don't know if it was ChatGPT or something.
Well, whatever it was, it literally had nothing to do with what ServiceNow would. If that is I don't.
Yes,
oh my
absolutely,
God, that was so
absolutely,
bad.
Larry. That's
oh my God, that was.
That's
awful.
why I think there's still a lot of hope for us humans.
Well, let me tell you, there is, when it comes to the voice side, especially. Look, so I got this offer from Amazon yesterday, from Amazon Kindle, the Kindle folks, because I have multiple books that are Kindle books, and they said that 2 of my books qualified for this beta program they're doing called virtual audio books. And one of them was that old guide I did, which actually I think I'm going to update, the Guide to Influencers 2013. And the other one was Commonwealth Self-Interest. So I said, all right, I'll look at it. That would be kind of cool. So I go and they give you a choice of like 50 or 60 voices that you can pick to do it. And every single male voice, for example, sounds like it's literally a fake. It sounds like that with slight improvement. And the female voices are better. But I said, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the Guide to Influencers and put it in that to see what comes up. I picked a voice that was as close to, even vaguely close to human that I could find. It was a female voice, which, it's bad because technically in the book I'm saying about I do this and I do that. So basically, Paul Greenberg is now female, right? So, but it was, we'll see how it comes out, but I will tell you, if this is a beta program, I don't think it's ever getting to GA. Let's just put it that way, because these voices are not the same as having a human read a book.
Go to the Google Notebook, folks, because at least those folks sound like real humans.
Yeah, I know, but then you look at the content side of it, and after a while, it's so repetitively.
I can't stand listening to them anymore because
I know, because it's the same thing over and over.
At least it sounded their voices at least sounded.
No, they're actually quite good, really. Yeah. Actually, the male voice sounds like Jeff Bond.
Wow. Okay.
It does.
All right.
That deep kind of resonant,
Let's talk a little bit about the actual move, because Larry said it here. They are, because they bought MoveWorks and now they're giant Logic. And even if we go back, remember we had Colin Fleming, CMO of ServiceNow. And we were talking about how they started talking about being a CRM company. And I have a little bit of that clip for why this is happening. And it seems like these acquisitions are really moving that forward.
If you interfaced with us 6 months ago, you'd be greeted with hundreds of SKUs and lots of 4-letter acronyms. We sounded like Dr. Seuss and Ham and Sam and Pam and ITAM and all these things. They're wonderful products. Don't get me wrong. They're incredible. But we thought there was a better way of communicating it. We've simplified that to 6 core solutions, CRM being one of them. And I do think that this is really important. We show up where our customers are. To your point around all these categories changing, CRM absolutely being at the surface of it, the game has completely changed with agentic AI. And obviously the freshness of the data and agentic AI, you've got to be able to move rapidly. We already have customers autonomously making decisions with AI agents on our platform today. CRM has changed, IT services changed, all these categories will change in front of our eyes. and we need to be able to adapt with it. We do think CRM will evolve to be more agentic in the future.
So this is basically all they're doing right now is really backing up the change in their verbiage.
Yeah.
They are now a loud and proud CRM company, and they're making, that the MoveWorks acquisition is one, and now this is like the Logic AI. It seems like it's more of a traditional CPQ play with an AI, to take all that data and bring it into the mothership, so to speak.
If you're going to be a contemporary CRM company, you need CPQ. So,
Exactly.
yeah, and Larry's got the right term there, CRM adjacent. They still look again. I mean, being kind of old school in my thinking about CRM as far as its definition, they don't have the marketing side of it, right? And
I would even say even that, and do they have a commerce like
not
commerce
really,
plan?
no. And that, I'm old school enough to say that's a CRM adjacent part of the platform, but nonetheless, but necessary at this point because it's customer facing.
Well, yeah, B2C and B2B.
It's customer facing, and it's basically a vehicle for that. And so they don't really have that. I mean, there's a lot of things that they lack that I think make me a little bit wary. I mean, make me a little bit wary of them being able to fulfill their claim in competition with the ones who they will be competing with, like Salesforce.
I think they're really, I think their main objective is to compete with Salesforce. I mean,
right, and the reality is Salesforce is much more complete when it comes to that.
Well, when did they buy Brick? What was it, Steel Brick? What was that, like 10 years ago or something?
More than that, yeah.
It's been that long. Wow.
Yeah, I think it was like 2013 or 2014.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but you know what? I keep going back to that conversation we had with Colin, because remember he said something to the effect of he was brought in to get the company to the $20 billion mark.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think about how big the CRM market is, what else? Where else are you going to go to make a dent into that?
Right.
What is it, like a $60-70 billion annual market?
And growing. And it's still growing. Larry, you got a number?
Yeah, let us know, Larry. It's still growing, so that means the overall pie is growing, which means there's a lot of room now, and there's going to be even more because Salesforce is running about 19% of the overall. So there's still 80% of the overall CRM space is not being dominated. And why wouldn't you, if you're a ServiceNow and you've got the resources, you got the experience, you got the people, you like John Ball and Colin Fleming? Why wouldn't you try to dig into that a little bit more?
Yeah, and the reality is, companies like Microsoft aren't making anywhere near as big a noise as Salesforce. I mean, as any of the other competitors, really, of the big six. But so there's room to step in and be loud, so to speak. Here too, where
Larry's question.
Yeah, I mean, right now, let's say immediately they don't have that,
which is a big missing piece.
Right? Yeah, they're sales ops right now, as much as they're service ops, they're sales ops, and that's it. Do they want to compete with that eventually? If they're calling themselves CRM, the answer has to be yes. I mean, if they're not they don't want to compete with Sales Cloud, then stop calling yourself CRM.
It has to be. And isn't sales still the biggest chunk of? Is sales, and then I'm guessing service is next, and then marketing. So I mean, let's put it like this: it's a huge pie already. The pie is growing, and even the biggest eater of the pie. I don't know how long we can go with this pie thing. Is only has about a fifth of the pie, less than a fifth of the pie. So there's a lot of pie there to be had.
And there's a lot of smaller competitors who are making a lot of headway too. I mean, companies like Pipedrive and so look at the note our guest sent.
Yeah, I know he's going to be unleashed as soon as we.
I know.
We know you like pie there.
So I mean, the thing is, a lot of the smaller competitors like the Pipedrives out there, and of course Zoho and so on, which is not really small. I mean, but smaller. Pega, all these other ones using the rubric of CX are still carrying core CRM functions and capabilities. Creatio, those companies are
And-
all there, and they are competing. And there's a lot. Let's say this: ServiceNow's strength is that I don't doubt it. I don't doubt their ability to accomplish anything.
Yep.
I really, if they put their mind to it, with the way that the company is running, with the
Great
culture,
executive leadership, right?
the leadership team, the strategy and the focus they already have, the platform that they've established, and the basic components that exist, they can pull this off. Because that said, what they're up against, and this is actually going to be Colin's biggest job, is what we've been talking about, this signal from signal thing. All those other companies are not providing noise; they're providing signal, right? Meaning that they have capable offerings, that they've established some thought leadership in the space for the most part. Not all.
Some of them,
not all. But let's say this: they've established more thought leadership than ServiceNow has in CRM.
Right. Well, even that AI generated thing, the first thing it mentioned was ITSM.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Which is why you knew this was going to be horrible, right? So, but that they're really in a place where the amount of work they're going to have to do. Look, then right now they're just saying the word CRM over and over and over again and buying accordingly, I guess is the best way to put it. But they're not out there as the thought leaders in the space. They have a unique capability to kind of impact it and it's ironically around their foundational back, their upside.
Yeah,
the upside. They're better than that at service, and maybe I don't know. I can't speak to sales ops. That's too new. But on the service side, there's nobody better than them. So
but I think they're banking on the disruptive nature of all AI, agentic and generative, that provides an opening that maybe they didn't see or have a couple of years ago to make a significant leap and get because they're on a roll. I mean, they're
nonstop.
Yeah,
it's nonstop with them.
And I think they're leveraging that role to roll right into, potentially making a significant impact in the CRM industry from the
Look, I think there's a ton of work for them to do that they haven't done yet. On the other hand, if they want to succeed at it, knowing them, they will. And I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be repeating the word over and over.
And like I said, and we both said, their executive team and their leadership.
It's a great team.
There's not any really better.
No.
Generally speaking, I think their experience, all those folks have the traditional CRM experience. So I wouldn't bet against them. Let's put it like that.
No, me either. I literally would bet on them, but but we'll see. Again, all the things, but the product pieces. See, and the last thing I'll say to it, usually when when you and I are like talking about these kind of companies, it's that they're not being the thought leaders. They're not stepping into the industry to participate. Things we've said to multiple companies over time, both of us. This one still needs pieces yet. There's still some pieces missing. Now, obviously, 2 acquisitions in 3 weeks, directly, indirectly related. I mean, one directly, and I don't know about the other one particularly, but is something. But they're still missing a lot of pieces that they're going to need, at least, or partnerships they're going to have to implement. But we can't forget Adobe here either.
Yeah, but it does feel like they seem to be willing to do what it takes.
Yeah.
At least,
Again,
so far, at least,
no doubts.
Big hello to Sahil.
Hey, Sahil, how you doing, pal?
You know what Sahil likes a lot?
Yeah, but I don't.
And now it's time for Stump
the
Godfather
stuff.
with the
We did the good
venerable
stuff
Paul
with
Greenberg.
Sven. The moment
Brought to you
Sven's the
by
good thing.
Microsoft
Stump
Dynamics
the Godfather is the
365
bad
Copilot.
A very simple.
I didn't hear a
approach
word
to it.
you said because
Doesn't
I was
matter.
listening to
It's-
Benny.
The good news is it's on record.
Good old Benny.
It's been
Anyway,
recorded. That's all
Stump
that
the
matters.
Godfather is back.
Well,
Whether
we
you
were
like
back
it or
last
not.
week.
Yeah, it's back and better than ever. Then how about that?
No,
All right,
last week was good. I actually liked it.
this one's going to be good too.
We'll see.
Let's see what Bob's talking about. It's
The
what
Patriots.
the hell?
He's just throwing words in there.
Oh my God! What the hell, Bob? And we were going to give you a shout out because we see something you're doing that's really interesting with folks like Meg Bear and Katrina. What's her last name?
Gazarian.
Man, I'm glad you can say that.
Easy.
I would've-
Armenian.
I would
It's
have
an Armenian last name.
Yeah, I'm not an Armenian speaking. Anyway, Stump the Godfather. This is going to be a good one. This comes by way of unway of the bold one, the cold one, John Cloderice Lawson.
Okay, so it's e-commerce.
No, it isn't.
Whoa.
I don't think
Okay.
so. Something that he shot me. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to use it. So here it is. This week's question.
I'll ask him.
Apple is losing over blankety blank dollars per year on streaming service. Has blankety blank million Apple TV Plus subscribers. Now you feel free to get either one of those right. Try to answer them both, and don't look it up. Anybody that's here with us right now, this is the honor system.
I'll hold my hands up.
We do not want you to start asking ChatGPT or whatever. Just take a guess.
So I'm assuming streaming service is Apple TV Plus, not something else in addition, or
that is
something more than that.
all you are getting from me.
Well, that doesn't help. I have no streaming
Apple
services.
is losing blankety blank per year on streaming services. That
For all I
doesn't
know, that means streaming customer service.
but it doesn't. It's not saying it's losing on a specific service. They're saying overall.
Well, what else do they have?
Take a guess and find out. All right, Larry is saying, easy one. Okay. So Larry, then you are not allowed to answer that.
Yeah, go ahead, Larry. I'll
No,
guess approximately after you answer it.
Nope. Anybody who already knows the answer, you are disqualified. And our guest in the green room, if you want to take a shot, put it in the private chat there, and we'll let everybody.
He's too busy eating pie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, now that he's got some extra time on his hands for the time being. Yeah. All right. Anybody? Sahil, Bob, Larry is already disqualified. Sven hardly ever. No, he does. He does.
He gets Claire's here. So Claire.
All right, Claire. Pete Smith. It was my understanding that there would be no man.
Chevy Chase. Zara, do you have anything?
There's not really any math. It's just a guess.
Come on, Zara, Claire, Bob. Well, Larry, you guess. Pete.
Bob.
Numbers.
Oops. What is he doing oops for?
I have no
Okay.
idea.
So Sven, 900 million annual.
That's loss of per year.
$900 million. Yeah, annual. Yeah. That's it is, that would be a significant loss for everybody but Apple, considering they make they used to make 21 million in profit every quarter. Let's see. So Sahil is saying 750 million per year. So we got 900, we got 750. Come on, Bob, give us a guess. Pete, give us a guess.
Zara, give us a guess. Claire, give us a guess.
Yeah, anybody out there? And as I said, no ChatGPT.
Those of you who we don't know are there, give us a guess, and then we'll know you're here.
Bob is saying $1 billion.
Whoa. I think everyone's so high. So Claire's saying $1 billion too.
What is this? So we got into like some poker here.
Yeah,
I see you and raise you.
All right.
So
wait a minute. I know what I'm going to do.
So we got they're all kind of clumped together. There's 900.
Yeah, that's why I think just for the sake of differentiation, because I don't have it. Who the hell knows? I'm going to actually go with a much different number. Well, he gave the
Larry,
answer.
what are you doing? What are you doing, Larry?
He gave the answer.
You already told us you knew the answer. Larry, what the hell, man? You just blew it for me. I'm asking to show it now. Over $1 billion per year, and they have 45. Are you a subscriber to Apple TV?
Yeah, I am actually. I actually like Apple TV.
Well, Clint, you were pretty close on the subscribers.
Yeah, I was going to guess roughly the same subscribers as Clint, and I was going to guess 400 million lost deliberately because everybody was so bunched up on the high end. I thought, all right, I'll guess on the low end, but that was just because they didn't want to be, in the same
But can you
ballpark.
imagine making enough money that you can afford to lose $1 billion every year on something?
Yeah, I don't know if they can afford it, but I mean they can weather it.
Well, like I said, they were making earning profits of 20 billion every quarter. So that's like 80 billion in profit a year. I guess you can afford to lose one, you know.
Well, that doesn't even know. Actually, they're not losing one against that. That's actually literally after they lost that. That's what's so amazing about it.
These companies, these tech companies are like the only ones that can afford to use content as a loss leader to a certain extent. Who else can afford to blow $1 billion?
Maybe soon to be oil companies.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how to think about this because Larry kind of like sabotaged me.
Well, no, but Claire and
I think they might have been cheating.
No, Claire and Bob.
They both said $1 billion.
They got nobody was even trying to guess the number of subscribers. I would have actually been close to right on.
Well, no, our guest did. He got 25.
He was that was after Larry. Oh no, I guess
I was kind of
Larry, but he didn't see Larry's comment.
You know what?
After his guest,
we invited Larry to come on and tell a funny story about our guest. I might have to rescind that offer since he's like blowing up my stuff.
But I'll bring it back. I'll bring the offer back. He did what I love when completely
took me off
the hook for the entirety of Stump the Godfather.
Yeah, thanks, Larry. Oh, wait a minute. What is? I said 44 million.
Oh, the number.
Yeah, but when did? Let me see. Was that before or after Larry? Let's see. I'm going back to. He did say 44.
Did he?
Subscriptions. It's right here.
Okay. So there you go. Well, so you win that one. So he'll win subscriber, and Claire and Bob win dollars.
That's all. If you guys are doing the honor system and you swear that you weren't cheating, I need to get that in confirmation form. Otherwise, I'm kind of.
What would be the point of wanting to do something?
People want to look like they're smart. I don't have to worry about that. I'm not worried about looking dumb. Yeah, I'm not. Anyway. All right.
I love you. You leave such big openings. Like the largest opening I've ever heard from anybody. I think
when you go
without, man.
When you go without shaving for a month and look like this Burl Ives kind of beard going, most people have no idea who the hell Burl Ives is.
No, they don't.
Which might be a good thing.
How many people who guess know who Burl Ives is?
I'll give you
don't look him up.
Silver and gold. No, I'm just kidding.
No, they won't know any of that.
Not at all. All right, let's move on because it is time. We've been teasing this for a little while. I'm going to turn things over to the venerable Paul Greenberg.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, look, I'm putting a time restraint on.
All right. So
this
what?
could
We
take forever.
Bring them on 5 minutes to 5 minutes of 4.
Yeah, we'll do like 20 minutes of intro and 5 minutes of conversation.
Right. Exactly.
All right. Here you go.
All right. Bring me in. So I have known this gentleman since I think it was August 2004.
What day? What day in August? Do you remember?
Well, I could actually find out because I was at a Gartner conference.
Wow.
And there was this 4-month-old company, and I know they were 4 months, so it's 4 months after their founding date. So if it wasn't August, we can figure that out. 4-month-old company called SugarCRM there, and I met this young woman named Tara. Well, I just blocked her name. Tara Clint. What was her last name? I'm blocking it. Clint and I literally talked about this. Well, Tara, anyway, who is actually now very active in women's issues, and she's been an acting CMO and things like that. She's doing well. But Tara says, hey, I work with this company, SugarCRM. I said, who the hell is that? She said, well, we're open source CRM. And I said, oh, that's interesting. So she took me over and we sat down in this tent Gartner had and talked. And she convinced me that I should go meet the executives of this team. And it didn't take much. It was really an interesting idea. So I went over, and the first person I met was actually Spalding. Thank you. I was thinking of Tara, our other friend Tara, so that was blocking me. Thank you both. I had total brain fart there. So anyway, I go over and I meet this guy, Clint Oram, and it's like I talked to him maybe 2 minutes. I knew, oh man, this guy is smart. I like him. I'm going to keep talking to these guys. And that, by the way, that's how I kind of work. If I like the people I initially communicate with, I'll continue to talk with the company. I don't like them, I don't even want to bother most of the time. But in this case, it was like, bam. So he was a co-founder of SugarCRM, and for the last 21 years, until I think officially was Friday was his last day, was there, and he was Sugar Clint, which is the best, of course, both hashtag and
Twitter handle,
Twitter handle, and any handle really in the entire world. He is one of the he's a visionary guy. He genuinely, like, when he gets involved with something, he does it because he loves it, and then he moves it. He has the ability to like move it forward, which is very rare. A lot of people do things they love and get stuck because they love it too much. In Clint's case, he does love things a lot, and then he takes them forward because he loves them, right? And he's an innovator, but he can execute. He is not afraid of taking risks, and over the 21 years in sugar, he took quite a few, really. Most of which worked. Occasionally something doesn't work, but most of which worked. And the thing with Clint is everybody who knows him absolutely adores him. It's not that we like him, we adore him, right? Because he's got a big heart, he's kind, he's smart, he's passionate, he's committed, and again, an amazing executive. And now it's weird. Look, it was weird enough, honestly, when Larry Augustine left Sugar. And this makes it even weirder. Okay, so I don't know. We'll see what happens with Sugar. I mean, but not having Clint there is something that, look, it's going to happen, but you never expect. But when it happens, you're kind of glad for Clint. And, the future is his now. So let's bring this guy on. It's just, I love him. So let's do it.
Before we do, I thought I would, we've had him on, a time or two over the years.
Retrospective.
And I didn't get enough time to really go into this, but I found a couple of clips, I think, interesting tidbits from Clint Oram. Sugar Clint is what we call him, being a part of the CRM Playaz shows. Oops, got the wrong one. Stay in the green room there. I saw his face. Here we go.
Predictive AI is all about C3PO, and Gen AI is all about R2D2.
Why is that not showing up?
Oh,
Did I go?
Let's try this again.
Yeah.
I never.
Round two.
StreamYard has been really weird.
Yeah, because they doubled the price and now
yeah, that's it. Here we go. Why. Let's try this again.
Predictive AI is all about C3PO, and Gen AI is all about R2D2.
Wow.
oh.
Did I go nerd level?
You went to DEFCON 5 nerd level on that one.
I've said this a couple of times. I think CRM has jumped the shark. It's time for something very new.
So I'm still kind of bristling at yesterday's comment from, I think it was Rob Tarkoff, that CRM has jumped the shark. Every company that I'm working with is embracing CRM more than they ever have before. They've kind of gone from early stage training wheels to adopting customer relationship management tools across every function in the front office. And what I see happening in 2024 more than ever before is every department, sales, marketing, and service in the front office working together seamlessly with one CRM system, one view of the customer, one integrated set of business processes with no dropping of the ball in the handoffs from team to team. And to me, that's the testimony of CRM as a success.
Ooh, Sugar Clint was getting a little fired.
Yeah, I got a little fired up there, didn't I? I got a little Actually, hearing him again, I was just thinking, I guess I did a pretty good response back then.
Yeah, you did. Thank you for joining us, man. This is like big news.
Hey guys, good to be here.
20 plus years at the co-founding and all the different C-level positions you had, and then you
Bet.
wake up, I guess, this week, and you like it's all in the past, man. Tell us how it feels.
Yeah. Well, so Monday was technically my last day,
Monday.
which I shared with one of the other guys who was early at Sugar, a guy named Majid Aitani. And Majid said, Monday? Who stops working at a company on a Monday? Like, that's the most random day of the week. And that was actually March 31st, which was it bookended my time at Sugar exactly by 21 years. We started on Sugar as an open source project on April 1st, 2004, and I concluded my tenure on March 31st, 2025. So not quite as random as it sounds, but it's been a week. I got to tell you, it's been a week. A lot of thinking about what's happened over the last 20 years.
Well, you have a real legacy to look at there, and a future to build on from that legacy too, which is nice because honestly, put it this way, you're young enough to do it.
Well, before you get into it, what was the first thing you did Tuesday morning?
I slept in. It was amazing. I slept in till 8:30. I haven't slept in past 6:30 in decades, and I slept in till 8:30 in the morning. And I woke up awake and I was thinking to myself, "Oh, what's my first? Oh, I don't have a first meeting." Yeah, I was sharing with a friend that I'm not sure what to call it. Is it retirement? Is it sabbatical? Is it And she said it's a rewirement. So I am busy rewiring right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, it's next. Is what it is. Right. It's next. Yeah. We got time. So tell us, first of all, kind of. Well, I won't ask you like what are you thinking of doing yet, because it's a little early for that, I think. But tell us what your thinking is on what you see out there, given 21 years of experience of seeing if. Look, you're a pioneer. I mean, you were in a market when it was very early on in CRM. So what do you see now? Where's it going?
I almost kind of want to steer away from AI because everybody's talking about AI, but it's. I'll take it from a slightly different perspective than I think what a lot of us here on at least on CRM Playaz is talking about. It's from a software development perspective. It's amazing. I'm talking to friends who've kicked off startups in the last year, and the amount of real product that they're able to deliver in 6 months with one CTO sitting behind cursor and not cranking out code, but describing code, describing the set of services that they want, describing the application to cursor as the IDE for building the application, building the software stack. It's amazing, guys. I got to tell you, what one person can do. That one person in 6 months would have been a team of 4 over 18 months, right? And it's just. I'm chomping at the bit. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening right now, and building a company right now feels like building a company in 1996.
So you were open source in the beginning. You would have really the pioneering company in that, and kind of shaped a significant way the market began looking at that too, which was important.
Screw those Red Hat guys. They didn't know what they were doing.
No, it was you guys in the CRM market. Okay, that was.
Okay. I'll take the CRM.
Market,
I'll take the CRM crown on that one. You bet.
I mean, we are CRM Playaz, not Linux Playaz.
Not the Red Hat.
We're not the Linux.
Not OS Playaz.
But we're not the Linux Playaz, right, Larry? So.
Oh wow.
No, well, Larry.
I know.
That world.
So, he knows one or two things about that. Yeah.
So you had. I remember 30,000 developers working on Sugar Forge, and who were constantly back and forth, and it was an amazing community. And now you're talking about basically, effectively, one of them can go and build the product that 30,000 were working on, in a manner of speaking, not necessarily.
I think that's actually closer to the truth than a lot of the hype I'm hearing about things like agentic AI and that sort of thing. The reality of what one developer can do right now is it's amazing, and it's happening right now. We're not talking about it's around the corner. We're not talking about I saw this one thing at this one show where somebody was giving me a cool demo. I'm talking about what did they got to Cursor, or Anisphere, the company that had released Cursor, which is they call it vibe computing, which I think is a pretty cool way of describing it. They started in 2023. They broke 100 million by the end of 2024. What? And they've already broke 200 million is what I heard this week. And we're 4 months into 2025. That company they're just printing money. It's got to be nice to be a salesperson at that company right now. But I got to tell you, it's real. It's very much happening. And so of course I start thinking about, as I always have, how do you take the best tools for software development and then go apply it into the business world and into how people are working day to day in the business. And so I think there's a lot of really cool things ahead of us. So you're asking me what's hot out there right now? Man, it feels like 1996. It feels more exciting than 1996. I got to tell you, 1996, you're all with the web and Mosaic and Netscape and Mosaic. Things like that. We were kind of at the front end of getting surprised by what could happen next. And here I think we've got a savvy group of people who are not surprised, but exhilarated what you can do next with software development. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment.
Who can't legally drink yet?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is cool. So you are, you've always been free with share your opinions, but I'm guessing you might be even more emboldened to be able to share your opinions now that you're officially not working at a CRM company. So when you think about we're at 2025, you brought up 1996, that's almost 30 years. What are some of the biggest misfires or regrets from that you've seen over the years from CRM, not necessarily Sugar, but that the industry has continued to get wrong?
Oh, didn't prep me on that one. I got to think about that. If there's one that really always stands out to me was kind of the dud that social CRM was. I can say it. I'll throw it out there. We all talked about how social CRM was going to change everything and change the way the balance of power from companies to individuals. And I think it did to a certain degree, from companies to consumers, to buyers. I think it did to a certain degree, but I don't think social CRM ever kind of lived up to the hype. And I've always been one who, I'm the first one to poke a pin in the balloon on the hype cycle. I don't believe that agentic AI is going to take away jobs in the next couple of years. I think there's a lot of cool things happening around what we're now calling agentic AI. Conversational AI was another way of describing it in the past, and things like that. I think there's a lot of cool things happening, but I kind of look at where we are with Gen AI today, and I think in the CRM space, and I don't think it's lived up to the fullness of the hype yet, right? By any stretch. I think we're still climbing that. We have not hit the peak of inflated expectations, and we've certainly not gone into the trough of disillusionment. We're still busy building a mountain of inflated expectations, which I think a lot of them are kind of bullshit.
Okay, so let me back up to your social CRM comment. I'm going to throw it.
I knew, Paul, when I said that, I could see your face.
No, I actually agreed with you.
Okay.
But I don't know. I have a context for it. Okay.
Okay.
So for me, it was just transitional, and it always was. Meaning, when I used to call it CRM 2.0, and Brent was the one who called social CRM, and I adopted what Brent did in a post.
We're gonna blame Brent for the bullshit then.
No. I thought it was the right name.
Let me get back up from under the bus and
right. So no. I think it was the right name for what it was.
Yeah.
Right. And the initial idea of it was to distinguish between traditional CRM app technology and people who are integrating the ability to communicate, on social media into their CRM technology. That was it. And then what happened was, and this is where the difference is. And that was maybe 2007, 2006, 7, maybe 2008, right around there. Within 3 years, basically, it was time to just call it all CRM again, because everybody was integrating those things. However, the one thing that was also happening then was if you remember, and I know you do, because we all were, veterans, we all looked at it as, CRM originally is much more than just technology. and the market looked at it as technology, right? So, which is why people said, "Oh, it's our CRM," and they were always talking about their CRM system, right? They never were talking about their CRM strategies or programs, except for the implementation of this system. And it became CRM itself, core CRM, became operational for a company, required as opposed to nice to have, but operational. And then what happened was, from the flames of social CRM emerged the phoenix of CX, which took the other parts of CRM that we wanted to be CRM and kind of adopted it. Now, is it totally succeeded? No. But it basically took the strategic aspects of it and the right-brained aspects of what we wanted in the street, those kind of things, and kind of folded it into how they were viewing what we wanted CRM to be. So social CRM, to me, it was just merely transitional to what became CRM and CX later, right? That's why. So I don't know if I have a different framework maybe, but it didn't have any.
Did you ever buy a Domino's pizza off Twitter?
I've never bought a Domino's pizza off of anybody.
There you go. Good answer. There, you remember there's a point in time when this is what this is kind of when the shark jumping moment for me with social CRM or just the whole kind of social business meme was when you could configure your Twitter account to automatically be linked to your Domino's.com account, and you could order a pizza by tweeting "Send me a pizza now," right? And it would, and mechanics in the background would happen, and you'd have a pizza at your house 10 minutes later. And I think that out of social CRM, the thing that really certainly came to be the case is that customers have a much louder voice that can be heard, and companies have to listen to their customers because that loud voice, that loud dissenting voice, can have a real impact on your business. And I think that was probably the single best thing that came out of social CRM as a movement, as a I guess to a degree as a technology, is giving customers a voice in how they're treated and how they work with a company. And I think that was probably the best of it. But there was a lot of hype going on back then, and I'll take that forward to today, and I hear about a lot of the way that the robots are coming, and in 10 years from now, you won't have any companies won't need employees because C3PO or R2D2 or one of them is going to be doing your entire customer service for you. I don't know. That all just seems a little bit extreme.
I agree.
By the way, you're supposed to be able to order pizzas from this little guy.
From Rabbit?
You can do that from Rabbit too? Is it connected to your Twitter account?
This thing is nothing more than a
or X, sorry,
a showpiece, because this thing is like useless.
I know. I think.
Did you come to that? I was about to spend my $750, and then I was actually listening to you guys over the last few weeks.
It was only $200.
Is that what it is now?
Yeah, okay. That's what we paid for it. $200.
Okay, well, that's you.
I would have killed somebody if I paid $700.
Yeah, it does not worth $200 though. It really isn't. It's basically a square orange piece that we leave sitting on our desks, doing nothing. And even with all the updates, it's still
not doing anything.
No, I mean it might, but why bother with it? It's like one of those products you don't even want to. It's too much work to get anything done with it, which is exactly the wrong answer for what it's supposed to be.
I want to go into a little bit of different era because
area.
1910. Yeah, like I said, you never been afraid to speak your mind and to say things that you believed in, but you were working at a software company. So now that you're not doing that, how do you plan to use your voice to share the things you see or feel, especially the things that are really important to you, or you just want to be able to get out there a little bit more? How do you plan on doing that, and how so?
Yeah, I've been lucky to be a co-host on a podcast the last 3 years that was sponsored by Sugar, a podcast called Fuel Growth. And I'm now getting ready to kick off a new podcast with a friend of mine that he's a sales leader who's been in the industry as long as I have, but he's been on the on the sales side of things. I've been on the technology side of things. And so we're going to be launching a new podcast here in about a month. I don't know. I haven't cleared with him running, unveiling the name yet, but yeah. So definitely what I'm excited about right now is just getting back into the game of startups and what's happening in the startup world and how AI is impacting the startup world, the software, not just the software startup world, and talking about that level of productivity that you can achieve as a company builder yourself, but what it's doing actually for all the other companies. I've got a buddy of mine who's starting a company for implementing Zoom, a partner of Zoom, and he's building the entire company from scratch by looking for AI first approaches to everything, to finance, to website building, to, of course, to CRM, but to every aspect of the business. And he says it's one of the most enjoyable experiences he's ever had applying technology to real world problems. So I think there's a story to be told in there of what people are doing right now with AI, not what's coming around the corner, but what people are doing with right now and how amazing it is. And so I'm going to be spending some time talking about that on the upcoming new podcast.
So here's a question I like asking people, especially when they are liberated from their companies. So let's assume you have no financial restraints whatsoever. Your experience doesn't even matter in this decision, and you could do anything in the world you wanted to do. And there's literally nothing standing in your way whatsoever, and you don't have to build it off your past experience. It doesn't make any difference. What is it?
Definitely travel, right? You know, I just love travel. I've had I've been blessed to be able to visit over 35 countries around the world, and I'd love to visit 100 countries, right? Nepal, Tibet, Peru, certainly the Egypt and everything. I just, you know, I'm a bit of a sci-fi nerd, and if you're a real deep sci-fi nerd, you're also into things like all of the different conspiracies of history, of the Illuminati. Just kind of walk your way through where did the Sphinx come from? Where did who actually built the pyramids? Why is it that you have pyramids in Africa and South America and Asia that all look somewhat very comparable in nature? That's just a whole space that I'd love to go spend a couple years traveling and digging into. But I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet.
You and Graham Hancock.
Yeah, I've read every one of his books. I was sitting here. I'm horrible with names too, so I was trying to remember the guy's name. But Graham Hancock, I've read every single book of his, and some of them are really well. The Mars one was a bit, that was pure science fiction. But so that's what I would do, Paul. Is I'd go explore the world and take a look at the old and think about where the new is going to be coming from.
So, of all the 35 countries you have visited, which one was? Let's say which is the one you loved it so much you lived there, with and the second one is which one was the biggest surprise to you? Like, holy cow, I did not expect that to be what happened in this trip.
So I've lived in Germany and for a year back in college, and then I lived in Ireland for a couple years, kicking off Sugar Europe for the company.
Providence.
Loved. Yep. Got to know the guys at Providence CRM extremely well. Love those two countries. Germany and Ireland. Would go back and live there again. Very different countries, no doubt about it.
I'm with you on Ireland, at least.
I think the one that kind of surprised me the most was the depth and texture of India. Is just it's an amazing country. It's an amazing country. It's an amazing country in not only its history but also in the different layers of society today. I mean, this is a country where you can walk down the street in Mumbai specifically. I'm remembering walking down Mumbai, and everywhere you looked, there's 1,000 people in front of you. And there's people driving down the street in a Lamborghini, and there's people living on the street right next to it. And there's just this, it's such a rich texture of life that I would go back to India and spend more time there. Yeah, and it
really
kind of caught my eye.
You remember the other thing about Mumbai is that there are an enormous amount of packs of dogs out there, and they're just part of the community. They're not. It's not like they're dogs who are strays. They're literally the same as the people of the city. They're just part of the community, same way like cats in Istanbul or something like that. But it's astounding.
Yeah, I think the thing that really struck me the most is how integrated together all the different aspects of life are there in a way that kind of feed off each other. And here in the States, you've got stratified social economic levels, and people lock themselves up into their communities and don't want to talk to anybody else and put their little bubble around them. And what I found in my time visiting India a couple times, I've been there 3-4 times now, and had the opportunity to speak at different conferences and give my thoughts on what it means to build a software startup, and to see that vast tapestry of life woven together the way it is. That was without all those little bubbles. That was cool.
Actually, after the show, I'll tell you who. But I just had a thought of somebody I think I want to introduce you to, who I know Brent knows pretty well too, who's doing something now that he hasn't been in his company for a while. But I got something for you.
All right, man. Bring it up. Looking forward to it.
All right, so we're getting close to the top of the hour, and I know you got to get back to doing nothing.
Get back to
That's right.
Getting ready to eat dinner. You got to get back to getting ready to eat dinner.
So that's kind of early out there for dinner. So what about
lunch?
The future? Like you mentioned where we are with agentic, and it feels like right now there's a lot of talk, a lot of bluster, not a lot of actual stuff. What does success look like with this agentic stuff? And how long do you think it'll be? Well, I should say, will we find success? Mm-hmm. And how long will it take to actually find it?
Well, we will. And the part you guys I've been on your show a couple times, and you've asked the question, what is CRM? And I'm the one that always tends to gravitate towards an answer of, I'm looking for that customer assistant. I'm looking for somebody I'm looking for technology to tell me something I didn't already know, tell me what to do next, and do the easy things for me, to be that executive assistant, if you will. And so while I poo-poo that this standalone autonomous agent is right around the corner, that's not the case. Self-deterministic AI, sentient AI is not a couple years away, maybe 5 years away, maybe 10 years away. But there's maybe 100. There's a whole discussion in there of what society looks like when you've got these near sentient, or if not potentially sentient, intelligences, and we'll probably at that point start getting rid of the term artificial. And how does life go about and execute on a day-to-day basis? And the thing that I look forward to is having that assistant who's helping me get me through my day. And that's the space I'm going to spend my focus on. And I think there's a lot of innovation that's going to be coming around the corner in front of us. And I think that vision of my personal customer assistant is finally the technology's caught up with the idea, and we can turn it into reality over the next several years ahead of us.
Perfect.
That's awesome. Hey, thanks for taking time. I know, this is still new to you, being unemployed for like 3 days or something like that.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I looked at my calendar day and I had like 4 meetings, and I was thinking, oh my God, 4 meetings in one day. I thought I was away from this.
Oh yeah. You'll never get away from that. That's just.
Nah, people like you, man. They're always going to want to talk with you.
So actually, that does bring up an interesting point. How do people get a hold of you now?
Well, always LinkedIn is the best way of getting hold of me, right? And my email address, clint.oram@gmail.com. It's been the same. I actually shipped that email address as demo data in the early versions of our open source software, and I still get spammed on that. So.
What is it? I think StreamYard is having issues because dude is talking about Frosty the Snowman. We've been 30 minutes past that discussion with Burl Ives. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. Either that or it's just Bob being a little slow.
I think Bob's just still thinking about that paperweight on your desk.
We need to do like a show where we have Clint and Rich Green and Larry on, and
let's do it.
bring back all
The Sugar alum crew. There you go.
Right.
The Sugar Hill gang.
The Sugar.
Oh no, but this has been a lot of fun, and
It always is.
And
stay on.
Thanks for hearing from me, having me on. You'll be seeing a lot more of me. I'm going to spend more time in the CRM analyst world and
why don't you spend more time and come out to DC and we'll go to dinner and drink some.
No, I keep hearing about this fabulous liquor cabinet that you have down in the man cave.
Let's put it this way: I can't bring it to you, so you can come here.
Perfect.
How's that?
All right, I'm going to take you up on that, man.
Hey, feel free to join us on
anytime.
the happy hour too. So that way you don't have to fly to DC.
Well, he does if he wants to drink in here.
Well, but there's a weekly happy hour. You're more than welcome to join.
Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m. We'll send you the recurring link. I'll send you the recurring link.
Perfect.
Although the last couple of weeks,
I haven't been there.
It hasn't been a lot of happiness given what's going on today, but that's for another day. Anyway, for Sugar Clint, that's not the last time. He'll always be Sugar Clint. I am Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Playaz, and we have to say goodbye to Clint. But we can say hello to Minnie before we say goodbye to Minnie. Hello.
Hey, Minnie.
See ya. Well, Paul, before we go, you got to announce that we're going to be missing for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So Sunday, I'm heading out on a cruise to the Panama Canal. So there will not be a CRM Playaz for the next 2 weeks because this is a 11-day, 10-night cruise, I think, something like that. All I know is I'm missing 2 Thursdays. So we will see you again.
I might fill in something, but it won't be a CRM.
Right. So April 22nd or 23rd, I'll see you guys.
24th.
20, whatever it is.
All right. Have a great weekend. We'll see you later.